Happy New Year! It's 2014 and I'm back, Whisky Wednesday, every Wednesday, another whisky review. So, I'm going to conclude my review of the Arran whiskies. I know it was a month of Arran and I did 4 whiskies in December for Arran. I thought I'll conclude with a rather special Arran, my first review of 2014, before I move on to some Cutty Sark whiskies and some Bruichladdich whiskies over the next couple of weeks. The whisky I'm going to be reviewing, Arran, 15-year-old, single cask. It's one called Private Cask, and they do a series of single cask bottlings. This one was bottled for the Whisky Shop chain in the UK. There's 230 bottles in the world because the liquid comes from one cask. It's a sherry hogshead, distilled on 21st of the 7th, 1997. And bottled on the 30th of the 4th, 2013. As most single cask whiskies, it's bottled at full cask strength, so it's 50.7%. Lovely colour to it, like a kind of deep, almost kind of deep gold, kind of Albany tones. As you can see, it's an official Arran bottling. They will put normally the actual shop logo on as well, depending on who they're bottling it for. And it comes in this rather just kind of quite minimal packaging, which is what all their private casks come in. So, sherry cask. I'm going to pour myself a nice measure of this, because after the review, I'm going to sit down and enjoy the whisky and eat some dinner. And you probably noticed I've got a rather thick hoodie on today because it's really cold, I have to say. Right here, so I'm going to move that there. Move the box. Cool. So, let's give it a nose. It's non-chill filtered. I wouldn't expect anything less from Arran. Non-chill filtered and natural colouring. 230 bottles in the world. So, let's give it a nose. First impressions, definitely you really get a kind of a brandy-esque note about it. That kind of quite grapey. Not so much. It's not the kind of fruitcakey note that you associate with sherry casks. It's more grapey, like definitely kind of brandy-esque. There's a honey note that is kind of reminiscent of a good kind of French Sauternes pudding wine. So if you've ever had Sauternes, or maybe a kind of a Tokaj, just any kind of sweet pudding wine, that kind of grapiness, kind of fermenting fruit, fermenting grapes. Maybe a bit of stewed apple. Honey. And all through it as well, you can put some from one cask. You can definitely smell oak. So there's lots of vanilla. You do get that classic Arran butterscotch style that comes through on the nose as well. It's just, yeah, it's kind of honeyed and grapey and brandy-esque. And there's a little hint of orange oil as well. Right, let's give it a taste. I will put a link to where you can buy this particular bottle, because it is a single cask. You can only get it from the Whisky Shop, so we'll put a link in the description below. It's about £80. Let's give it a taste. first thing you noticed is that it's immediately sweet, kind of sweet style, quite mouth coating. So it starts off quite creamy and then develops, hits all parts of the mouth, so getting a bit of spiciness, slightly drying as well, but it's definitely mouth coating. Bits of, I'm getting kind of a bit of kind of creaminess at the side of my mouth, a bit of dryness at the top, a bit of dryness at my gums down here. Right, let's give it another taste, get some more flavours. Because remember, the first taste when you're tasting a whiskey is always just a marker, and that's your mouth getting used to the strength of the alcohol. So let's give it a second taste. Okay, second taste. I'm getting cocktail syrup. The butterscotch is back. Always Arran butterscotch. It's that lovely, just butterscotch flavour. It's brilliant. More kind of that citrus note comes through, so I'm getting a lifted orange note, orange oil, and a tangerines. A slight bit of chocolatey note, orange blossom honey, so it's a kind of slightly floral, quite kind of elegant style that I get from it. Right, let's give it a third taste for some more flavour notes. And as I drink it, much more honey, a little bit of saltiness now, a bit of raisin note, kind of raisin dried fruit. And I'll tell you what it reminds me of. I don't know if you guys have ever had it, but have you ever had sourdough cake? Where it kind of keeps making it. It's also called friendship cake, and you add to it, you add flour and milk kind of over the days, and then when you come to cook it, you add apple, you add raisins, you add cinnamon and sugar. It reminds me of that. It's got that kind of breadiness, the fruity apple, the honey, the cinnamon, the bit of vanilla, and that kind of bready, thick kind of, it's just really good. But yeah, sourdough cake. On a side note, if you've never had sourdough cake, it's really easy to make. Highly recommend doing it. Right, one more taste for a couple of more notes and the finish. Third and final taste. Baked apple, again. On the finish, slight bit of banana, slight kind of creamy banana there, and it's quite elegant, spicy. It's a really, really, really good cask they've chosen for this 15-year-old. Solid 9 out of 10. It has to be said. All flavours there are fantastic. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's drying. It's got everything you want in a whiskey. So yeah, the Arran 15-year-old Whisky Shop exclusive private cask edition. 230 bottles in the world. If you've got one, let me know. Leave me a comment. And I will see you next week for some more whiskey reviews from me. Cheers guys. Bye bye.